You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
Come on, then! I'll bite your legs off!
I can take it.
Great power comes great responsibility. We have a hope. Get to the chopper! Andy! To the flesh wound. I am the father.
And we are back with the 29th episode of SludgeCast. We hope you guys are doing so good. I know it's kind of quarantine time and everyone's been cooped up at home, but I know I've heard from several people that y'all are enjoying video games and movies and podcasts. Actually, I've seen a lot of people talk about different podcast shows they're catching up on or finding out there, which is great. So go support everybody that takes the time to do these because it is a little bit of work. But of course, Sludge here, and actually was originally going to be by myself tonight because Micah cannot make it, and there's just things going on with this quarantine stuff that is keeping him from being here for this episode. So we're rescheduling the episode that he's going to be here, as well as our friend Austin to do the Power Rangers episode. That'll probably be next month's, hopefully, with the quarantine stuff, permitting. But tonight, Sludge is joined by none other than Mrs. Sludge. So my wife Sarah has graciously agreed and volunteered to be my co-host. Sarah, you want to say hi?
Hello.
She's got a good, strong voice. She's probably like 6-8 inches away from the mic, and that was good. I like that.
I'm loud.
With Mark, I'm always pointing at him, like, get closer to the mic. Get closer. Which is why I'm getting him a new mic. So when he listens to this, he knows now why he's getting a new mic, so that it's easier on me.
It's not the mic, then it's him.
I know. That's what it is. I'm always telling him. But he gets so relaxed. Like with this, I've got a studio downstairs, and I've got a big brown ottoman that Mark sits on, and usually it's just for other band members to sit on. Usually we pull it closer to the studio desk when we're tracking guitars, and the guitar player, we usually sit on it next to me while we're working on guitar parts. But Mark uses it to sit on, so is Micah. My wife is using it now to sit on, and Mark seems to like to lay back, like way back. What's that song from the 90s? Way back. I don't want to think. Anyways, let's just move on with this. So,
I know what song you're talking about.
I can't think what it is.
Snoop Dogg.
Is it Snoop Dogg? Okay. That's Mark Reagan. That Snoop Dogg song is Mark Reagan all the way. So I'm like, come on, get forwards on the mic. But so, anyways, we got some things for you guys tonight. Of course, we'll have a musical song for you, just like every episode. But I got some news. Got a lot of news. Been kind of bored sitting at home. Not bored. We've been busy. I mean, thankfully, I'm blessed, and my wife's blessed with jobs that, of course, she's not working right now because still dealing with a broken ankle, as most of you know, and you guys have been saying prayers for her, so we appreciate it because she's doing really well. But we work from home, so I've been blessed to be able to keep my job. I do work for a healthcare company. It's actually been busier over the last several weeks than I think it ever has been in the last 3 years of me working for the company. So it's good, super blessed to have that job, but so we're home all the time anyways, but trying not to, strangle the kids because they drive us crazy. I know they drive you crazy. But we're doing pretty good, and we hope you guys are doing good. But we got some news for you guys. Several things I want to talk about because I haven't been sitting at home. That's pretty much all I'm doing. If I'm working and reading the news. And then, of course, we'll do the song, and then we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on with the quarantine because everyone's doing good. I'm excited about it. I want to hear what everybody's been watching or doing or playing, so we're going to talk about some of the things that we've been doing during this downtime. And I tell Sarah and the kids that they're actually on vacation, so that's what it is. She shakes her head, yes. Mm-hmm. You can say, yes, we are. It'll work. So let's jump into some news real quick because there's several things. The first thing that I want to go over, you guys have probably seen, we're probably going to be getting a new Flash in the movies real soon. So if you guys haven't seen it on the web, Ezra Miller, the Flash from Batman vs. Superman and Justice League. My wife wants to laugh about this. She thinks this is hilarious. She tends to laugh at people that get hurt or hit. So apparently Ezra, there's a video of Ezra out there at a bar in Ireland, got into an altercation with a female and I guess choked her and took her to the ground. So I haven't seen, you can laugh, it's all right. I haven't seen the video. And so I kind of want to know, like, did she punch him? Did she start kicking his butt? And because he's not a big guy at all, really. But because of this, he has faced some serious backlash. And obviously, it's not cool to hit a woman, period, ever. But it is looking pretty quickly that we're going to be getting a new Flash in the DC universe, which will be interesting. And a lot of fans online are now petitioning for Grant Gustin to take the role of the Flash, which would be awesome because Grant is the Flash in the TV series. In case you don't know who Grant, the Flash is.
No.
I'm talking to my wife here because I know you guys listening know. At least any of the female listeners know who Grant Gustin is because they're probably a female nerd, and they're like, "Oh, Grant Gustin," because they love Grant Gustin. Like, the dude is, I don't know, for most female superhero fans, he's like the hottest thing ever, other than Stephen Amell, I guess, maybe.
Are you fangirling over him?
No, I'm just making fun of Grant Gustin because Grant's a pretty boy. Like, he's just that. He is. You know what I mean? Like, I loved Wesley Allen Shipp, who was the 90s Flash, and of course he was the Flash and Barry's father in this series. He was, big muscular 90s superhero, but Grant's kind of a twig, pretty boy, could have been in Twilight type deal, but he's great as the Flash. Like, he is awesome. So, but that would be cool. So hopefully, I don't know what's going to go on or DC's going to do, but over this, it does look like he's going to end up getting replaced. I'm calling it that he's going to get replaced, and it would be awesome if they brought Grant Gustin. So I don't know that they will, because they don't like to mix their TV universes and movie universes like Marvel does. It just makes no sense to me. But hopefully that'd be cool. If not, at least we'll get somebody better, because he was okay as the Flash. He wasn't that good. So, next piece of movie news. Was that a little loud when I said next? Next piece of movie news is actually Disney related. I'm a big fan of the Robin Hood cartoon. That's probably one of my favorite Disney cartoons, and it just hit. I just found out actually a few hours earlier today that Disney is working on doing a Robin Hood remake for Disney Plus. And it's going to be fully animated. What do you mean cool? Are you pro this? I don't know if I'm pro this or not. Like, some movies can be remade, but...
You're an old man. You
Yes.
need to get with the times.
No, the older times were better. I mean, the 80s were better.
Yeah, but
the
they've
90s were
done
better.
some remakes, and they've done a pretty good job, like on Beauty and the Beast. That was really good.
Beauty and the Beast was pretty good. The live, I don't think this one's going to be live action. If I'm not mistaken from reading, it's going to be animated. But with the live action ones that we've talked about a few times here, I'm very picky on them. And well, you know this too. You live with me. So I've been very hit or miss. Like, Jungle Book was great. Lion King was absolutely terrible. Beauty and the Beast was pretty decent. I didn't mind that one. I hated Lion King. I love Dumbo. Aladdin was pretty good.
I liked Aladdin.
Aladdin was pretty good. They put enough new stuff in there. I like that Will did his own thing, because that was the hardest. Yeah,
I was worried about that because I don't want somebody to try to act like Robin when they're not him.
Right. Then that would have been very bad if he did that. So I'm interested to see what they do with Robin Hood, because I love the cartoon. I love the songs. I love Friar Tuck. Like, I would love it in this one, because a lot of those guys probably won't come back and revoice. I would love Bill Murray to be Friar Tuck in this movie. Like, that would be awesome.
He's great.
Like, I know he's Baloo in Jungle Book, but bring him as Friar Tuck in this, and that'd be so cool. I want him as Friar Tuck, and then, like, I want somebody with, like, Shaq as Little John. You know what I mean? Like, just that big, deep kid voice, because Shaq's got a big kid voice is what he really has. That would be really, really cool. And then, I don't know, you can get anybody for Robin Hood. It doesn't matter. Any good actor will be fine. So I'm interested to see how that goes, because we got Disney Plus, and I pretty much watched it for Mandalorian. I've talked about this many times on the show, and haven't really touched it since, because I don't care until Mandalorian Season 2 comes out. Then I'll use Disney Plus again. But you and the kids use it, and I know a lot of people use it for the movies. And so I think it's cool that they're... Because, right now, with there's a lot of movies that have been postponed in theaters or been moved to streaming services by Disney or Amazon or, whoever. Bloodshot was one of them. Birds of Prey was another. The Hunt is a newer one that just came out. So a lot of them, they're moving to release, which is cool for us to watch while we're home, because obviously we can't go to the theater and do it because the theaters are closed. But so I think it's cool that they're making new movies and new shows that will hopefully we'll be out of quarantine by then, because the time it's made. But I like that they're doing more, because when the Disney Plus first came out, I wasn't super impressed about it. I talked about it on a previous show. Other than The Mandalorian, which is absolutely amazing and the greatest thing that's on Disney Plus, but it just was, I don't know.
I don't agree.
Well, you're
I
wrong.
love
It's
Disney
okay.
Plus,
I mean-
and I like going back and watching the old shows that were on TV when we were kids.
Well, yeah, and you like the old Mickey Mouse cartoons as well, which we found out that one night watching a Mickey Mouse cartoon that we talked about that they probably got Ghostbusters from it.
It's called I think it's called The Lonesome Ghost. It's hilarious. I've laughed till I cried watching
I love that one. That is a very hilarious Mickey cartoon because it's Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, right?
Yes.
Even think with Donald's great because he gets so pissed at everything, and he can't really do anything about it. I think my favorite part in Who Framed Roger Rabbit is the scene with Donald and Daffy.
Yeah, with the pianos.
Oh my gosh, it's brilliant.
It's
I love
almost
it.
like dueling pianos.
It is,
Yeah.
and dueling angry ducks.
Yeah.
Like neither one could talk right. So, but yeah, that we think a lonesome ghost is what's gave the idea for Ghostbusters because it's very much like it. Well, I should say Ghostbusters is very much like that cartoon.
Right, because it's got Mickey Mouse and Donald and Goofy have their own business of exterminating ghosts. And these ghosts have a newspaper at the house they're haunting, and they decide to call the number and tell them to come and get the ghosts.
It's great. It's a really good. If you guys have Disney Plus and haven't seen it, go watch that cartoon because it is really, really good.
And it's only like 7 minutes long.
Yeah, it's not very long. It's pretty short. So it's cool. I mean, Mandalorian 2's coming, so that's what I care about. Even though I am a little bummed, and one of the news things I'll go ahead and move into with Mandalorian is Taika Waititi is not coming back. Of course, my wife probably doesn't know who that is, and for those of you who don't know who that is, that's the guy who directed Thor, Ragnarok. He directed this season finale of Mandalorian season 1 with Jon Favreau, who's overseeing the show. He produced it as well. Taika is also doing the new Thor for Love and Thunder. Taiki's a great director. He's really, really good. I love his talent. So I was really excited watching his episode. I'm like, man, you could tell it's got his style to it, his flair. So I was kind of bummed that he's not going to be doing season 2 at all. It's only because of scheduling conflicts that he's not able to come in and do any episodes on season 2, which kind of stinks, but there's a lot of cool stuff happening for season 2. A lot of cool people coming. Rosario Dawson for one. Yes, she's going to be there. So she's playing the Jedi in there, which you wouldn't know who the character is, but it's okay. But
yeah, everybody cry because I don't watch that stuff.
Oh, it's okay. I'm trying to learn her, guys. I promise. So, so for season 2 of Mandalorian, no Taiki this time, but it's okay. Favreau's still on board, and it's going to be great. Another piece of movie news is that while we've been sitting here and a lot of movies have been put on hold as far as productions, Matt Reeves' The Batman with Robert Pattinson and Colin Farrell and all them, they've had to put production on hold because of the coronavirus. But Matt has been very vocal on a lot of things about the movie while waiting. You know, he's let fans know because some fans had concern, are you going to change anything in the script? He's changing nothing. But he really started talking about his Batman in this film, or Robert Pattinson's Batman. And it was a pretty cool thing he put up the other day talking about this. He's pretty much really Bruce is really finding his humanity in this film. Because, I mean, we know Bruce's parents were shot, killed. That's what makes him become the Batman. But this movie's, he's not going to tell an origin story, even though he said he'll have glimpses of the origin in there because you got to as Batman. But it's really going to be about him. This is the first 2 years of him being Batman. He's still trying to figure out what he's doing, who he is, how he's going to truly deal with this pain that he's got inside. Really, it's causing him to be Batman. This is the death of his parents. So it's all really, a lot of it's going to be about him finding his humanity, which is really cool because I think that adds a real good depth to the character that we've never had in any of the Batman films. Mm-hmm. And plus, everything looks so cool. The Batmobile looks awesome. It's like the Dodge Charger from Fast and the Furious films on steroids with weapons. Like, I love it. I'm super excited. We just don't have Vin Diesel driving it. Like I said, we got little tiny Robert Pattinson. He's not tiny. He's actually pretty bulked up for him for this film. And the Batsuit looks good. And, of course, we've seen pictures of it. It's kind of evolving throughout the film. So some of it's changing. He's still trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And I think that's really, really cool. I'm interested. I can't wait to see the Penguin. Can't wait to see the Riddler. Can't wait to see Catwoman. Like, everybody's in this movie. Except for Joker. We've heard nothing on Joker yet.
I'm excited about it. I actually like Batman. I want to see Robert's take on Batman. I
am too. Like, I finally got around to watching The Lighthouse with him and William Dafoe, which I do not recommend for most people. I knew it was kind of an intense film, but did not know how intense and crazy it got and going into it because I kind of went in a little blind, and that's out there. It is an out there movie. But William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson are at this lighthouse. They man this lighthouse for like 6 weeks or something like that, or they don't know. I mean, you completely lose track of time. They lose track of time because they just go absolutely insane. I mean, it gets crazy. You don't know at one point what's real, what's not real, what's hallucination, how long they've been there. It's absolutely an insane movie. And I will give it, William Dafoe has always been one of my favorite actors. I think he's one of those guys, when you put him on screen, he's very hard to outact. I mean, even Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, like, he was amazing as Green Goblin. Like, in Harry Osborn, he was so good as that. He's great in everything he does. So to me, that was like a high bar that Pattinson had to hit. And so watching that movie, I was like, okay, this is going to let me know how good he'll do as Batman. If he can come close to William Dafoe, even a little, kind of close, then I'll feel comfortable with him being Batman. He was every bit as good as William Dafoe. There was moments where I'm like, I liked seeing Pattinson on screen more than I did William. He blew me away with his performance. It was crazy. But again, don't recommend that for most people because it is out there. But I have full confidence in him being Batman now.
I'm going to have to get on that rabbit hole now and watch that movie.
Oh, man, it's crazy. It's crazy movie. So, all right. I hope you guys are excited about Batman. I am. I love Batman. As long as it's not a Joel Schumacher Batman, then I'm okay with it. Joel Schumacher Batman's, by the way, for my wife, was Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. So, Batman and Robin is the worst Batman movie ever. There's nothing worse than Batman nipples on the suit and the Batman Visa card.
I remember that.
Oh,
it was from the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was terrible. Terrible, but it's okay. So next bit of news. Haven't talked about Godzilla a whole lot here lately, but I am excited to do that right now. Two things I really want to talk about. There's of course, we're still waiting on the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer, but there's other things Godzilla going on. One thing is we're getting a Godzilla Monopoly game, which is supposed to come out later this month, and I'm super stoked for. But game-related, everyone's heard of Magic the Gathering. I've actually never played the game, but I know a lot of people do. Magic the Gathering is coming out with an upcoming expansion set called Ikoria, Lair of the Behemoths. And there's a lot of monsters, behemoths in this, but they have announced and shown that these add-on cards, and of course I don't know how the game works, so I mean, for you guys to play, I apologize for my noobness on this, but you have got like these extra cards that you can lay down that are Godzilla characters. You got Godzilla, you got Gigan, Space Godzilla, Mothra, a bunch of them. It's super freaking cool. So like, they're super cards. You actually got Anguirus, the Armored Killer, Baby Godzilla. I don't know why he's in it, but whatever. Biollante, Space Godzilla, Destroya, King Ghidorah, Gigan. You got 3 Godzillas. You got the Doom Inevitable, the King of the Monsters, and the Primeval Champion. King Zazar, you got 2 of his. Mothra, the Supersonic Queen. Rodan, Titan of Winged Fury. I'm sorry, you got another Space Godzilla one too. So it's pretty cool. So these are collector cards. I'll be buying them, even though I don't play the game, because I'm a Godzilla fanatic and I want to have these Godzilla collector cards. But so it's pretty cool that he's going to be in Magic the Gathering. That says a lot because Magic the Gathering's been around for decades, and it's the most popular card game in the world. So it's pretty cool that Godzilla's becoming part of that. The only thing that I find absolutely stupid though is when Space Godzilla came out in 1994, his beam, his ray that he shoots out like Godzilla does, was called a Corona beam. Okay,
we got the Corona for the Magic cards.
Yeah. Well, originally his card was called. I had it here a minute ago. Where did it go? I just lost it. It was something Corona Space Godzilla. Okay, that was the card, and people pitched a fit about it, and they had to go back and change the card's name. So now it's BioQuartz Space Godzilla. I'm like, really? Like, that's pretty stupid. Like, 1994, it was the Corona beam, and the card name had to deal with his Corona beam, but they had to go back and change the name. So now it's officially BioQuartz Space Godzilla.
That makes me feel like they're really suspicious now. Like, we better not go get a Corona, which we don't drink, but anybody else, or else you're going to die.
I mean, they show that's like Corona, the beverage, their sales dropped.
Wow.
During this, like, I'm like, come on, really? Let's have a little bit of an intelligence, okay? That makes me sad for this world. But anyway, so we got Godzilla Monopoly. Actually, Godzilla Jenga is coming too. The same company that's doing the Monopoly is doing a Godzilla Jenga, and we got Godzilla coming to Magic the Gathering. So really, really cool, man. We got Godzilla coming to a lot of games. I'm pretty excited because he's the king, man, the greatest pop culture icon ever.
What about what are the robots called where you box with them?
Sock and Bop and Robots?
Yeah, I'd like to have that suck and punch his head off. Because that's all you ever talk about.
It would be the one set you would get where you had Godzilla and Ghidorah or whatever, and whoever the bad guy is, his head pops off, but Godzilla's never does. It's not even eligible.
Glued.
Yeah, it's super glued.
Or it was just
impossible.
made that way. It's never going to happen.
You can't beat him. So, and one other thing Godzilla related to is that if you guys have seen online, Legendary is doing something really cool. They actually started, we pre-record this. It's Friday night. You guys, of course, listen to this Saturday morning. They started this past Thursday night. It's the Monsterverse Watch-Along event, and they're doing it, of course, it started Thursday. They're doing it again next Thursday, and then the following Thursday, and it's the Monsterverse movies. So Thursday night, they did Godzilla. Next Thursday, they're doing Kong Skull Island, and then they're doing Godzilla King of the Monsters. And what's cool is it's all live, like having people post pictures of them watching the movie. But then this event this past Thursday, was hosted by Gareth Edwards, who directed the first Godzilla film, and Legendary released some artwork for a new Titan that we've heard about, but we haven't seen yet for an upcoming graphic novel. Gareth Edwards shared some really cool behind-the-scenes stuff that never was released in the original Godzilla film he did. Actually, there was apparently a scene in the beginning of the film where I assume where the first Muto had broken out, and you see the old Godzilla skeleton, where I guess there were some miners that had gotten crushed or killed, and they did prosthetic makeup work for these miners, and he showed a picture of one, and his jaw's all half ripped off, and it was gruesome looking.
That's so cool.
But they cut it out of the movie.
What?
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, I can't believe that. And then he did also state during this Monsterverse watch along that in the movie, when Ford Brody, my least favorite character in the film, falls on the boat after Godzilla kills the female Muto, and he gets the boat started to get out away from San Francisco because the nuke's on there before it blows. That when he wakes up or he sees the helicopter light, originally that was the nuclear bomb exploding, and he actually died. And so when he wakes up in the film, that's just kind of him afterlife dreaming of finding his family again. And I would have loved that so much more because I couldn't stand that character. So I was totally okay if he blew up with a nuke. But so, I mean, they're doing cool stuff like that. And, of course, fans are really hoping, man, when this is all over, this 3-week watch-along, we would be great to get the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. Because there's a lot of stuff coming out. Spoiler alert, Pete Quint, just so you know, spoiler alert, I've stated it. So please continue to listen. Don't fast forward. Actually, let's just wait. I much want to do Pete. You usually will skip ahead a few minutes, but I'm just going to roll with it. I'm going to repeat it 8 times to make sure Pete hears it. They've released, or has been, not officially, but has leaked online pictures of the Godzilla vs. Kong figures that Playmate's doing. And with it has come a lot of spoiler information, especially with the Kong figure. And those who haven't seen it, spoiler alert, Kong does wield a battle axe in this movie. That has me freaking pumped. He's got a beard and a battle axe. He's a monkey Viking. I'm so excited about this. Legendary is doing their best to make sure, and they're trying to get me to go to the dark side. I'm a Godzilla fanatic, and Godzilla's going to win, but they're doing everything they can to be like, no, man, root for Kong. He's got a beard and a battle axe. I'm like, oh, dude. I can't wait. It's going to be such a good movie. So there's a lot of cool Godzilla stuff going on. There's some other things too, but we won't get into that. So, which is still pretty neat. So if you guys get a chance and you're Godzilla fans, definitely check out the watch along. It's pretty cool. I got to tag along a little bit last night before we put the kids to bed. Definitely want to make sure and get it next week, and then especially during King of the Monsters, because they're doing more stuff during the watch along. Legendary's going to release maybe new photos or, behind the scenes Easter eggs that we didn't get, or maybe we have missed or something like that. I do know there's still one Easter egg in King of the Monsters that apparently nobody's found or nobody's told Michael Dougherty about, because he did state that when that Easter egg is found, he will sign a theatrical size poster and give it to that person for free. Nobody's claimed it yet. So there's still an Easter egg. I need to go back and actually just watch it, because if anybody's going to get the Easter egg in that movie, it's going to be me.
You're gonna watch it every day now, aren't you?
I practically do anyways. So, I mean, I love that movie. It's so good. I'm not one of those just off the wall Godzilla fans like, oh, it's terrible. Y'all don't know what a Godzilla movie is, but it's all right. So, one last thing too, I'm really excited about, and we'll get into a song, is it's fixing to come on. I've been antsy. Like, I've been waiting. I've watched it already, but I'm waiting for it to drop digitally so that we can watch this, because we got, Bloodshot came out. I watched it, and it was great. It's not the best superhero movie ever. There's a couple of movies that's come out that I've got a chance to watch, but The Invisible Man is coming. But I feel like it's taking for freaking ever to get here. I think it's like, they haven't even, on Amazon, they haven't put when. I just found out that the Blu-ray is scheduled for May, so hopefully we'll get it on digital in the next week or two. But they have not even released a date for their digital yet. But I want Invisible Man. If you guys have not seen the trailer or seen this movie, it's absolutely unreal. I'm a big fan of the Universal Monster films. Invisible Man probably was my least favorite of those original Universal Monster classics, even though it was still really good. It's definitely my least favorite, but still a good movie. This new Invisible Man take, and there's been tons of them. I mean, of Invisible Man movies. Abbott and Costello did Invisible Man movie. He ended up becoming the Invisible Soldier at one point in the 50s when they got all kind of campy. And of course, you had the Kevin Bacon Hollow Man, quasi Invisible Man remake, which was, I didn't like that one for many reasons. But so anyways, this new one, with Elizabeth Moss is phenomenal. Like, it floored me, completely blew me out of the water. It deals with her character is dating who ends up being the Invisible Man, and he's a narcissist. He's pretty much narcissistic. At the beginning of the movie is her. I'm not going to try and spoil anything here. Escaping from him, because she's trapped.
Is he like abusive?
Yes, very much so. And so she leaves him, and all of a sudden, and of course you see this in the trailer, so I'm not giving anything away. He dies. Supposedly. Obviously, he doesn't die, and you can tell that by the trailer. And starts tormenting her, following her, invisible. And so you got this dude who's narcissistic that she's ran away from. Now he's torturing her on levels like you wouldn't believe. And it's insane. It's phenomenal. It is far superior to the original Invisible Man. So keep an eye out for it. It's really, really, really good. It's not, one of those super hardcore horror movies where there's tons of blood, tons of language. I mean, there's not even no nudity, nothing in it. I mean, it's pretty good as far as a horror film. It's just super intense, and the way that they developed it with, especially because you see that unfortunately a lot today, narcissistic behaviors and relationships, it really relates it and puts it at home for a lot of people. So you instantly relate and attach to this girl. I mean, you either feel for her or you've been in her shoes type deal or something like that. So it instantly sucks you in, and you're on a roller coaster ride the rest of the film. It's so good. So for you guys who are stuck at home, like pretty much most of us are, be looking for The Invisible Man. So it should be dropping anytime soon. Of course, you can rent it now. I recommend buying, but it is available for early access. But the early access stuff is kind of expensive. I think it's like $20. But when they release it for sale, to where you can buy it digitally and stuff, it'll drop to probably like, $9.99 to rent, $14.99 to buy. When you guys get a chance, check it out. Absolutely phenomenal movie. It is so good. So, all right, well, we're going to give you guys a song real quick, and then we're going to jump into a little topic of what we're doing during the quarantine, and we want to hear what you're doing during the quarantine. So we'll be back here in just a moment with that, but first, played this band before. You guys know I'm a big fan of them. They're called Fit for a King. I'm trying to remember what the last song was I played by them. I know I played them a time when Everything Means Nothing, I think is what was the last song I played. But they got a new song. Not new. Wait, no, it is a new song. They just released it actually like a month ago called Breaking the Mirror. Phenomenal song. This band's super awesome, super heavy, super talented. Love these guys, and I've been listening to them for like the last couple days. Actually, them and Wolves at the Gates has been like the two bands I've listened to a lot the last several days of my quarantine here. So hopefully you guys will like it. Hopefully this will pump you up, but here's Fit for a King with Breaking the Mirror.
Rebound with my
All right, and that was Fit for a King with Breaking the Mirror, and great song. I love that, actually. That song was really cool. For those who didn't really catch that, because there's a lot of screaming, it's really about changing who you are, not doing being the same thing that you have always been, and breaking the mirror, which is really, really, really cool. I love those dudes, man. They're great guys. So, all right. So for those listening, I'm going to put a post up on the SludgeCast Facebook page, and of course you can comment us back on Instagram. But I want to know what you guys are doing during quarantine. What's keeping you guys entertained and sane during this time? I know a lot of people have been watching. What's that Tiger thing?
Tiger King.
The Tiger
I watched
King.
that.
No clue what it's about. I know somebody gets eaten by a tiger or something like that.
They think that this woman's husband, she fed him to her tigers. It's so much. I don't even know where to start.
So, like, real life Toby Hooper's eaten alive? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, so there's a 1978, I think, movie. I may be wrong on the date. It's been forever since I watched it. But about a guy, a hotel owner, who's feeding these people to this massive crocodile he's got out back of his hotel, and it's called Eaten Alive. And the police end up investigating him, thinking he's, these people that go to this hotel to stay are disappearing, and he's feeding him to this crocodile, which he is. So that's probably still way better than whatever this Tiger King is.
This show is like Jerry Springer.
Have you watched it?
Meets the zoo.
Is it
I
really?
don't know how else to explain it. Slash Joe Dirt.
So we're please tell me there's somebody with a mullet on this thing. Have you watched it?
Yeah, he has a mullet, and it's pretty awesome. It looks like he bleaches it.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm not, even my mom put something on Facebook the other day about, or maybe it was yesterday or today, about sitting down and watching this Tiger King. I've seen tons of people on it, and I'm just like, I'm not doing it, man.
Yeah, you are. I'm going to make you watch it now. You're going to sit down and watch every episode with me.
How many episodes are there? I thought it was just like a movie.
No, I think it's like a limited series.
Oh, like
I
a
can't remember how many
deal.
episodes. So, yeah.
I mean, I wrap my brain on some stupid stuff, so I guess I can give Tiger King a shot.
At least you can laugh.
I laugh all the time anyway, so I'm just, I live with you.
Because you live with me, yeah.
Exactly, that's what it is. So I know people are watching movies. Of course, I'm on a lot of different fan groups on Facebook, like Godzilla fan books or fan groups, sorry, and different monster movies. Bloody Disgusting, I'm on their groups, Sci-Fi Japan's, so seeing what a lot of people are doing. Actually, the one group I'm on's been doing a pretty cool thing. Like Thursday was, I think, like Wolfman Day. Friday was Creatures in Black Lagoon Day. So people were putting up, like, watching the movies or pictures and different artwork they've seen of the characters and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So seeing people do stuff like that to keep themselves entertained. Of course, I know a lot of people are doing crafts or home things like that. And of course, kids that are home are doing homeschooling. We guess. People say they are. Hopefully they are. So
may or may not be.
May or may not be. And of course, I've seen a lot of friends been playing video games, especially a lot of classics, actually. And I know Final Fantasy VII just dropped, the remake of Final Fantasy VII, which is probably the most groundbreaking RPG game ever made. It was a 3-disc game on PlayStation 1, and probably the most pivotal Final Fantasy game in the entire series. And definitely the most pivotal RPG ever made because it was just completely groundbreaking. Not my favorite. It's actually my second favorite. My first one's Final Fantasy Tactics, but I won't lie, it's absolutely phenomenal. And the remastered HD version finally came out for PlayStation 4. So a lot of people have gotten their pre-orders in and playing it. And I think there's a new Call of Duty game or something like that. So there's a lot going on. So I want to know. We're going to talk about what we're doing. Or what we've been up to for our quarantine time. And I'm going to put a post on the Facebook page, and I'm going to put one on the Instagram, and I want you guys to comment, check it out. Let me know when you guys get done. I want to know what you've been doing. Tell me. Sludge wants to know. I love you. Let me know what's been going on and what's been keeping you guys busy. For me, it's been, of course, work and the family stuff, but it's been movies and, well, I got the new Sludge Stash episode. So if you guys haven't seen that, I have a new video show. Part of SludgeCast that's come out. It's going to be only a 15-minute show where I pull two items from my collection, the massive Nerd Vault, and talk about that item, the history behind it, why I think it's cool, why I made it in my collection, and then actually am showcasing pictures of other people's collections. So that's a fun little cool new little segment, Sludge's Stash. It's going to be only on YouTube because it's all video. Of course, we share it out to Facebook and everything else. So I've just started that here recently, and then been watching movies. I haven't played many video games. A little bit. I've been playing God of War on PS4 a lot, but I haven't played it in probably about a month. Took a break from it. Just started playing Diablo 3 again. Go figure. Everyone knows that's like my favorite game.
You have a problem.
It's still got the greatest replay value ever. So I just started playing it, but really it's been movies for me. Bloodshot was one. Of course, that's a newer one. We've gotten a lot of new movies. Man, Bloodshot, Sonic the Hedgehog.
That was fun.
It was great. I loved Sonic the Hedgehog. If you guys haven't seen it, watch it. It is so much fun. Like, it was really good.
Jim Carrey is so good at
gosh,
being bad.
he is phenomenal in that movie. I loved him as Dr. Robotnik. That was the best pick. Nobody could have done a better job than Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. He's phenomenal in it.
I love the way you make them.
Yes, that's one. If you guys seen it, when he's doing the little evil dance deal, and then his little hitman guy, his assistant standing with two like lattes scares him. He's like, ah. And he's just like, of course I do. I love the way you make them. He's great. He's so good in that. It's a really, really good movie. I hope they do it. I know they will, but I can't wait to do another one. I thought it was awesome. For those who haven't seen it, quick little spoiler alert. After a little bit into the credits, you get a post-credit scene, and Tails shows up, which was so cool. I remember watching with Gavin, and Gavin's like, it's going to be Knuckles. It's going to be Knuckles. I'm like, no, we're, 2 games too far. I'm like, you got Sonic in the first game, Sonic and Tails in the second one. Knuckles didn't show up till the third game, which would be cool though, because Knuckles is my favorite. I love Knuckles the Echidna, but it was so cool seeing Tails, and then to actually see him fly off at Sonic speed was awesome. Like, I was like, just keep going. Why'd you stop now? Like, I want the rest of this. Just go ahead and give me a second movie immediately.
I liked it whenever it showed Dr. Robotnik. The way that you're used to seeing him.
On the mushroom planet with the big mustache?
Yes.
Oh, yes. He nailed... I mean, I know he's not, like, fat like he is in the games, but he nailed that look. Yeah. I mean, to a T. So good. That was a great movie. We've watched it a few times. That was a good one we've watched. Me and you just watched the new Bad Boys for Life. Great movie. I love... the Bad Boys movies. There's a bit of language in the series, but it's a buddy cop film. I'm sure you guys listening have seen the movies. I mean, you got those buddy cop movies like Lethal Weapon's another one of my favorite buddy cop series. Of course, we'll go way back. You got Starsky and Hutch, or even Dragnet wasn't so much buddy cop film series because it didn't have much comedy. But like Starsky and Hutch and Lethal Weapon and stuff. Bad Boys is obviously Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. This is the third film. And it was great. I loved it. Had a really cool twist to it because the other two don't really have a twist. They're just cop films. But this one's got a twist at the end that was really, really good. And so I hope they make a fourth one. I really hope they do because they set it up.
There probably will be by the way they ended it.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it'd be really, really good. So it was really good. Of course, Bloodshot. Now, Sarah, you haven't watched that one yet.
No, but I want to.
Oh, man, it was good. It's not... Avengers Endgame, it's not a $1 billion making comic book superhero movie, but it was really, really good. I actually liked it more than some of the Marvel movies. Well, I mean, I liked it better than Daredevil, that's for sure. Not the TV series or the Netflix series. That's phenomenal. But the, Ben Affleck Daredevil. I
think everybody already knew which one you were talking about.
I would hope so. I would just had to make sure, But, I mean, it was better than that. I put it on par with, like, Ant-Man. Like, Ant-Man was really good and fun. I thought Bloodshot was really good and fun. I didn't think it was super bad. Of course, I mean, Vin Diesel, he's got his moments where he's just a phenomenal actor. There's a lot of times, it's kind of like The Rock. You know what I mean? Like they're really good actors, but they're not phenomenal actors. But they have their moments, I should say. When I look at the Vin Diesel, the third Riddick movie, which was called Riddick, I mean, the first 40 so minutes of that film, it's just him. He's carrying the film by himself, and a lot of it's a very Marceau type portrayal where there's not really him talking a lot, and he's absolutely amazing in that movie. So I mean, he's got great moments. Or the ending of Fast and Furious, I can't remember the one that Paul Walker died in. Not 9.
I think it was like 6 or 7.
Maybe it was 6 or 7. But like that whole end scene where him and Paul Walker, well, I guess it's actually Paul's brother.
His brother, yeah.
And they CGI'd it. That was not even the original ending. Vin rewrote that and made that tribute to Paul. That'll make me cry every time I watch it. It's so sad. But I mean, so Vin's got his moments, and it's kind of like, with Bloodshot. It's great. It's not the best movie he's done. It's definitely not the worst movie he's done. But it's really fun. I really enjoyed it. It's very, 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 very entertaining. I'm trying to think. Of course, now I've watched tons of older films.
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey, yes, that did come out.
Fun.
We watched that. That was a fun movie.
I liked it because she skated. It kind of made me miss skating, though.
Oh, I know, because
fun.
you're all gimped up. It was good. I told a couple people, friends of mine, watching Birds of Prey. I mean, it's very enjoyable. I may watch it another time or two, but I mean, I wouldn't. It was, again, it's not an Avengers Endgame film. They kind of tried to go a little more, not as far as, I mean, the language has got some language, but I mean, like, they didn't try to go as like hardcore R-rated as Deadpool, but they kind of went in the style as far as like just the breaking the fourth wall, especially with Margot Robbie's with Harley Quinn. But it's got a lot of really good fun moments. Actually, I loved Mary Elizabeth Winstead as the Huntress. She was great. She's like, her portrayal was awesome because she's very introvert, right?
Yeah.
And awkward, very socially awkward, and she's an assassin, and that makes it great to have an assassin who is a socially awkward introvert, and makes her. And then you got to put her with Harley Quinn, who's 150% opposite. Oh man, it was good. I like that.
I liked it because you don't see a lot of superhero movies that have a lot of women in it, and it was, I don't know, it was just really cool almost empowering to show all those women that could kick butt like that.
Right. Even Montoya, man, she was boss. She was. They did portray Montoya as an 80s, like, cheesy 80s cop, from a movie. It was, and they even make jokes and quips about it. So they did really good. Actually, I think probably my least favorite character was Black Canary. She was good, but I mean, I felt like she just didn't compete with the rest of them. You know what I mean?
I liked her.
She wasn't bad. Like, it was fun. I think the best part, other than Mary Elizabeth Winstead's The Huntress, which, I mean, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn she's phenomenal in it, absolutely phenomenal. But it was obviously Ewan McGregor as the Black Mask. Yeah, he was great. I mean, that whole scene where Black Canary first comes up and he's like, "Oh, look at my masks," like he's very, very eccentric. He put a really cool spin on the character that he didn't trail too far off from the character in the comic books, but he did enough. He put some flamboyance on the character to match the film, definitely. That made it really good. So it was fun. That was a good one we watched.
I like where she couldn't eat her breakfast food.
Oh my gosh, the sandwich?
Yeah.
When she even said, she's like, I'm pretty sure that it's because his cheese is 6 months old or is outdated or something like that. That's what makes it so good. Yeah, she was not happy about that. It was good. It was fun. That's a good one. I'm trying to think what else new that we've watched. Now, I've watched a lot of older stuff. I've spent a lot of time kind of catching up on some older, especially like monster movies and sci-fi movies and horror movies that I remember watching as a kid. I kind of got to talking to Pete Quint a couple weeks ago because he's going to be on next week's Monster Movie Stomp Down. We did a test call and really made me think about a lot of movies I watched as a kid. And I'm like, man, I'd like to go back and see it again. And I brought one up, Legend of Boggy Creek, which came out in the late 70s. That was about the Falk monster. It's Faulk, which is actually a real life thing. And I think it's in Arkansas. It was pretty much a Bigfoot, and it was all in the news.
Oh, of course you would like that one.
I loved it. Well, actually, my dad, Mark, showed me that because he loved that I guess he was like a teenager.
Oh, that's where it's come from. He's rubbed it off on you, so now I can go fuss at him.
Well, he's just going to tell you the same thing I am. It's because they're great movies. We have great taste. We know how to enjoy stuff. But so I got Legend of Boggy Creek, which is great. It's kind of like it's probably the first fake documentary film or mockumentary because it's shot and done like a documentary, except for like the last maybe 15 minutes of the film. But it's really, really bad, but good at the same time. Like, it's very enjoyable. I remember as a kid, there's a scene at the end of the movie, or towards the end of the movie, where the Falk monster reaches through. This guy's going to the bathroom to take a crap, and it reaches through the window at him, and he like runs out in his trousers. It's hilarious. I remember that as a kid, and it totally enjoyed it just as much as an adult watching it last week or whenever it was. So I watched it, and Oh man, there was another one I'd seen.
That makes me think of Exist. Isn't that Exist? Where it's
Exist.
a mockumentary?
Now, yes,
trying to remember.
yes, but
Yeah.
Exist is a whole nother level. I'm actually a huge fan. I think Exist is probably the greatest found footage film that's been made, aside from you. I'm not a big fan of it, but you got to give props where props is due. Blair Witch, and it was the same guy. The guy that did Blair Witch did not do another found footage film ever. That was the only one he did, and he was done. But then he came back and he did Exist. Kind of I felt like he kind of was like, he made the found footage genre what it was with Blair Witch, and then he had a million people making these movies, and most of them sucked.
Yeah.
And he finally came back and said, okay, let me show you guys how this is really done, and just smacked them all, because Exist is phenomenal.
I do like that movie.
Like, it is super intense and super good, great story, and then the effects of the creature are outstanding. And so, I mean, for those who like the found footage genre, if you've not seen Exist, that's worth checking out. Like, that was a really, really good film.
There was one movie you said that, is it Pete Quint that does another podcast?
Yes, he does.
He had talked about
Good Beer Bad Movie Night.
Sorry, he had talked about another movie, and you actually have it on DVD. What was that?
Oh, yes. They had just done Kroll.
Yeah.
That was one I watched, too. Their last episode was a 1985-ish film, something like that, called Kroll, which was like Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars, I guess is the best way to describe it. Excuse me. It had so much potential to be great. Like, it really did.
They
but
tried so hard.
it is not. And so they did they just aired that episode for Good Beer Bad Movie Night for Kroll. And I listened to it, and it was hysterical. And I'd messaged Pete. I'm like, man, I haven't watched this movie since I was a kid, and I'm about to go back and find it. And so I found a version of it online and watched it and enjoyed how bad it was. The horse scene, the fiery horse scene, is probably one of the best things ever. They're riding these horses that are going so fast. I'm using my quotation fingers for those who can't see. Going so fast that their feet are on fire. Okay, which is awesome. Like, that should have been the coolest scene ever filmed, ever. But it should only lasted like 20 seconds. This is like 7 minutes of bad matting and horseback riding and terrible flames. Like, totally ruined it. Like, you're like, a minute in, you're like, they're still riding these horses.
Their feet should be gone in 7 minutes.
It was bad. It was so bad. But a lot of potential. Terrible, terrible movie. But so I ended up watching it that day and messaging Pete. And I was like, hey, man, I watched, Kroll, and we were talking about it back and forth on Messenger. And then I get done and go upstairs, and I had to put some new movies that I had gotten on the DVD shelf. And there was this little white DVD sleeve sticking out. I was like, what is this? And I pull it out, and it's freaking Kroll. Totally forgot I had that movie on DVD. So it made it for a great day. So yes, I watched Kroll on the break. Really, really bad. Been hunting for a movie. Of course, now you guys know that I love monster movies. And the cheesier or lower budget sometimes usually means the better, in my opinion. And I remember one as a kid that I've been trying to find for a long time called Terror in the Swamp. And it actually came out the year I was born, 1985. And I remember watching this kid, but I got a few memories. I remember these two. It takes place in Louisiana, so a lot of real southern bayou hillbillies, real bad in this movie. But these two brothers in it that cracked me up. I love the characters, and then of course it's a monster in the swamp, and so I loved it. It's kind of like a Bigfoot-esque type monster. But I don't remember much other than a few scenes, and I've been trying to find it, and I can find it on eBay on VHS for like usually around like $20 all the way up to $50. It's really hard to find. Like, it never came out on DVD, never came out on Laserdisc. New World Pictures which used to be owned by Roger Corman. That's who released like Nightmare on Elm Street, Godzilla 1985, Transylvania 65000, or whatever. That was a great movie. 65000, yeah. That's actually a really good movie with Jeff Goldblum. But anyways, I finally, after hunting for I don't know how long, I found a copy of it online and was able to get a copy of it and watched it. And I had fun. Like it was really good to reminiscence on this movie. But then I forgot what the creature really was, and I was like, this was digging bottom of the barrel for a monster this time. So Terror in the Swamp's monster is a half man, half nutria. So for those northerners who are listening, or people who's not lived or raised from like Florida, southern Alabama, Arkansas, or Louisiana, the real southern swamplands, a nutria is like a giant rodent, like a muskrat almost. Yeah, that's it. So that's that's what this thing is. Half nutria, half man. And thank the Lord, you can hardly, most of the time you see the suit, it's really dark or it's covered in shadows. So, because I'm sure if it was up close, like that suit probably rivaled the Bigfoot suit from Creature from Black Lake, which was very bad. That was dollar store suit in that movie, which I paid $50 for that movie. That's terrible. There was this one, Creature from Black Lake was another Bigfoot horror movie in Louisiana. Terrible, terrible, terrible movie. But it kind of got cult status, especially for one horrible scene. Not horrible, it's just so out there. One of the hunters that's hunting this Bigfoot puts his gun down and goes to pee, and the Bigfoot's on the other side of the tree, and he no longer is a man. So we'll just leave it at that. So it was just terrible, terrible. And but it was a hard to find film for a long time, and I ended up finally finding a copy years ago, way before I met my wife. I think I paid $46 and some change for that movie. Now you can get it for
expensive?
Because that one scene.
Yeah,
that's it. It's the only reason. But now you can find it because somebody ended up re-releasing it, but a bootleg copy now. So now you can get it for like $20, $10, something like that. I'm like, that stinks. But that's that's part of it. Then there's a few other ones. VFW is a new movie that's recently come out that I want to watch, and I haven't watched it yet. That looks really good.
Looks different.
Looks intense.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Invisible Man. We're waiting for that one to drop. We just got Doolittle today, but I haven't watched it. But I know the kids started watching it, the new Robert Downey Jr. one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lot of movies for us. We
watched the Eddie Murphy Dr. Doolittle the other day.
That's right, we did. I forgot that was a really good
fun.
movie. It was fun. So now you've been watching you binge watch shows. You do a lot of crime dramas. Would you call it crime drama?
Yeah.
Because you watch like the real life stuff.
I like to watch the real life stuff, yeah, to see what happened after everything. Well, I like the psychology behind it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. So I don't know why you're not in like the forensics field or a detective somewhere.
Well, I actually started to go to school for psychology originally.
And there you go, guys. You just learned something new about my wife that I just learned new about my wife. So, how that's.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get away with it.
Well, hopefully it's not that part. So, hopefully Pastor Steve's listening to this.
And to get a life insurance
nudging
policy.
Dawn. You're like, hey, we need to pray for Chase and Sarah. Hopefully she doesn't kill him. But you like those?
Mm-hmm.
And some of those do get interesting. But then there's one show though you get into a lot, and that's the hoarding shows.
Oh yeah, I've got some family members that have that problem, and it just I don't understand it. But I don't know. It just catches my attention, and I can't stop watching it. I will watch show after show after show, and before I know it, it's 3:00 in the morning. And I've been watching these people that like to pack boxes in their house.
Oh my gosh. I watch, I'll sit down and try to watch an episode or two with you. And within 30 seconds of watching it, I want to get up and clean the house. And we're clean. We're OCD,
I'm a
the
clean
two of us.
freak.
And we've got to keep things organized and clean. So we keep our house very clean. So when I see that stuff, I'm like, man, I got to get up and clean. I know we're clean. The house is already clean, but I need to do something more.
It's going to help those people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is. It's insane.
It's really sad, really.
It is, because it seems like a lot of
it's a form of obsessive compulsive disorder.
That's gone very south very quickly for most of them. But you watched that. We watched Daniel Isn't Real.
That was really good.
Really good
liked it.
Take on schizophrenia. It's a pretty intense film.
It's dark.
Yeah, it was darker than we thought going into it. But it was very interesting. I almost didn't know there at the end. Yeah. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen the movie Daniel Isn't Real, but going through it, it really deals with schizophrenia. Daniel's mom is schizophrenic, and then he starts to develop symptoms about, he, as a kid, he had an imaginary friend named Daniel. What was his name? Luke is the main character. Luke has a friend, imaginary friend named Daniel that he ends up having to lock up in his mother's dollhouse. Is how his mother gets him to get rid of his imaginary friend. But then he comes back. Luke leaves college to come home, and his mother is in bad shape. Ends up having to put her in a mental hospital. But then he opens the door for Daniel to come back, his imaginary friend, and then it's crazy. It's crazy. So it's very
a psychological thriller, I would put it.
Definitely. So it was interesting. And there's a scene in there where Daniel tells Luke, "Let me take over." That was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And Daniel's played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, Arnold's son, and
does a great job.
Yeah, really good job. In that scene though, it's wild because it almost looks like when Luke lets Daniel take over the driver's chair, their body pretty much. It almost looks like he's going to kiss him, but he's not. And their face like starts to mold,
like morphing into each other.
Like one's changing the other one. It was wild.
But it almost looked like practical effects.
It did. I think it was. It was. Like, it had to have been practical effects the way it looked. So
I love practical effects.
Better than CGI any day, definitely. So I'm trying to think what else it's a lot of. Because by the time we're done, at least for me, like if I get a chance to sit down and relax, I'm usually watching something. Because I'll get my Bible stuff done like during the day, and everybody knows that I'm a Christian and stuff, and I'll do my studies early. Or our pastor's been doing some awesome devotions every morning, and then at the end of the night, I sit down and I'm like, oh, I need to veg on some bad TV, some terribly crappy movie that was made on a shoestring budget, which is my favorite thing to do. I love that. Actually, I told Josh Bramlett from The Protest years ago. We watched. I think we watched The Outing, 1987's The Outing. It's about a genie in a bottle, horror movie that gets stuck in this museum with these kids that decide to spend the night there. Great movie, actually. The genie is voiced by Jackson Bostwick, who was the 1970s Shazam in the TV series. I actually got to interview Jackson last year and got his autograph. And it was a great experience because he's got all this Shazam stuff on the table. Had a great time with him. We got a great interview. And when the interview was over, I was like, hey, man, would you mind autographing something for me? He's like, absolutely. You want one of these Shazam pictures? Did you bring like a Shazam thing? And I hand him this Outing DVD or VHS, and he looks at it for a minute. And he looks at me, and he's like, 30 years I've been doing conventions. No one has ever brought this to me before. You are the one guy. And he's like, I forgot I did the voice for the genie in this. I said, yeah, man. I'm like, I thought that was awesome. That's where, like, with Fanboy Expo, I hope, because they had to reschedule it, that Christopher Lambert, the guy who plays Highlander, and of course he played Raiden in Mortal Kombat, and he's played a lot of other great roles. He's going to be there. And I'm like, me and Mark's joked around about it. It's like, I'm going to be the one guy in line, like everybody in his line, which is going to be massive for Christopher Lambert. They're going to have like Highlander t-shirts and Highlander movie posters or Raiden movie posters, just all this big stuff that he's done. And I'm going to be the one dude in line with my Greystoke Legend of Tarzan VHS tape from like back in the 80s. And it wasn't even like an action film. It was a drama. But it's amazing. Like, I love that movie.
They'll remember you for that stuff. Bring in the obscure things.
Because I'm cooler than everybody else when it comes to that. Like, I'm the one dude, it's like, knows their one embarrassing thing that they've done in their history or their career, and I bring it up.
That time?
Yeah, and I bring it to light for them. Like, hey, you remember when you did this really crappy movie? Yeah, it's the best you've ever done. Here, sign this for me. Like, most of them will probably punch me or something. Like, everyone goes to see Dolph Lundgren, he's going to be there at Fanboy Expo, and they're like, Rocky IV or the Expendables films, or even I'll give him, Punisher. Nah, I'm totally bringing Big Showdown in Little Tokyo. like the one movie that is probably an embarrassment for him, I've got to bring it out. God, I am that guy. I like those bad movies, like, that just weren't really good. But a lot of movies, so many good companies from back in the day did that. Casshearn, I can't remember the name of the movie company. Man, they pumped out like 80s action flicks like none other. They're the ones that did the Missing in Action movies with Chuck Norris. They did the Rambo films. They did Iron Eagle.
Those were like straight to video people.
Other than the Rambos, most of them, yeah. Like the Missing in Action ones were. So I mean, like, But they're great. Like, I love those. I was telling you, I started this. I'm ranting now at this point. My wife doesn't do a good job at bringing me back and reeling me in here.
I'll go off on a tangent with you. Sorry.
But I was telling Josh Bramlett from the protest, a lot of those lower budgeted films, they have to try harder. Like the ones that care, that really are trying to make a movie and a good movie, they have to do all they can and try harder to make the movie as good as possible because they're working on a shoestring budget. And I had that in the back of my mind all the time watching a movie like that. I think of a movie called Blue Monkey. It came out in the 80s. I remember watching as a kid with my dad. We were driving back home to Indiana or somewhere, and we had to stay at a hotel. Loved it. It's like an insect version of Alien inside a hotel, inside a hospital. It was really, really good. And the movie's like, there's no blue monkey in it. There's these group of kids that have cancer that are in this hotel or in this hospital, and they come across and see this insect, this monster that's in this hospital that's killing people, and they find this cop who's the main character in it, played by Steve Railsback, who was a great actor in the 80s, and they're like, "Oh, we saw it," and he's like, "What'd you see?" And they said, "We saw the blue monkey," and that was just a dialogue line, and because the movie originally came out and it was called Insect. But it just didn't really catch, so they changed the name to Blue Monkey, and then it became more popular. And that released underneath that. That's a great movie.
You have that movie
on VHS. It's on the VHS collector's wall. Like for those who have seen pictures or know what the Nerd Vault is, I have a lot of stuff on display, and there's a VHS collector's section, I guess, of like some of my favorite rare VHS films. That includes The Outing VHS, original VHS signed by Jackson Boxwick. It's got the Blue Monkey VHS, Creature from Black Lake. It's got the two original, because they've been released on DVD now, but the two original VHS releases for the 1930s, 1940s Batman serials that came out. They're on there. I got like the original Star Wars and the original Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, not the re-releases, the original VHS releases by Fox or CBS. Yeah, I think it's Fox, but so the original cases, they're on there. So, because VHS is still the greatest format ever been made. I'll argue that. And it is, okay, because it looks great.
He's already getting defensive like I'm about to say something.
That's like I'm used to Mark being here.
I agree with you because it makes me feel nostalgic because that's what we grew up watching. Well, besides Beta, but...
Yeah, but there wasn't a whole lot of selection on Beta.
I remember when I was a little girl, I used to wear this one tape out. I actually tore it up because I watched this movie over and over and over again on the Betamax. And it was rented.
Oh, no. What was it?
Cinderella.
Really?
Yeah.
That is not a movie
I was a little girly girl.
I watch it over again. That's actually one of the things that I did as a teenager was repair VHSs and VCRs for the local video store. And that's how I made money.
Didn't know that.
Yep. So if you knew me, I could have fixed the Betamax for you. But if it was Cinderella, I probably would have wasted my time. But, it is what it is.
Chase, I was...
I know,
6,
I'm older than you.
You're
That's
only
right.
like 3 years older than me. I don't think you were repairing VHSs at that point in time.
When did I start doing it? I mean, I started early. Like, I was pretty...
I was in diapers and I was fixing VHS.
Oh, man. I mean, I came out I came out with a cigar in my lip, top hat on, quoting Martin Scorsese films. That was me. So yeah. So, I mean, that's what, we've been doing. We've been watching some newer movies together, and I'm watching a lot of older horror movies or monster movies, kind of reminiscing from a day. I've introduced Gavin to some monster movies. He's gotten really big into. He loves Alligator. It's a 1980 film about a alligator that gets washed down the sewers and then grows to ginormous size because this lab in the area is testing a growth hormone on puppies. And once they're done with the test subjects, the puppies, they just kill them and throw them in the sewer, and this alligator's been eating them, and he grows to massive sizes. Great fun movie. He
sounds
loves it.
Fun.
Oh, it is. It's so good. So he watched it. Then we watched. I think we watched Deep Blue Sea the other day. I'm trying to think of so. No, Anaconda. That's what we watched. We watched Anaconda. We didn't watch Deep Blue Sea.
Did it scare him?
No, he loves it. He's asked me I don't know how many times to watch Alligator again and Anaconda. He likes it. Although now we're having to watch it, though. This is where Sludge is kind of, we got to make sure and check him. I came home the other day, had to do one of the rare trips out during this time to get some essentials that we needed, and he was watching The Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like, come on.
I don't think you can watch that yet, buddy.
No, like I don't mind watching the monster stuff. I mean, that's got some language in it. It's like, no. He's like, come on. Like,
I've told him he has to stay off the Plex.
like we got some things you can't. You're 6 years old. Well, now he's watched. The reason why probably is he's watched Alien vs Predator with me and Jada. And Alien vs Predator is PG-13. There's no language in it, and of course you see the predators and the aliens in it, and he liked it, so he probably was thinking, oh, here's another Predator film. Let me watch. No, this is not the same. This is not a PG-13 movie. But so he's getting into the monster movies too. I want to get him to watch Critters soon. I think he'll enjoy that.
We're gonna have to get Colton into this stuff.
Colton can't, man. We got two sons. We got Gavin and Colton. And Gavin gets into the monster stuff. Colton, he can't do it. I don't think. He gets too scared. He'll be looking for Krites underneath his bed, like at night if he watched Critters. Like
He'll be crawling in bed.
like what's the matter, bud? There's the Critters. I love that movie. That movie is so much fun. I don't know, anybody who doesn't like Critters just doesn't know what a good movie is. That's so much fun. My favorite scene is when one of the Krites is arguing with a stuffed animal toy of E.T.
You know, I actually don't think I ever saw Critters.
It's so good.
I've always wanted to. My parents wouldn't let me watch that, but they let me watch Nightmare on Elm Street.
That makes a lot of no sense whatsoever. So
and It.
Yeah.
Oh
man, well with Tim Curry, yes. That was. I remember watching that as a kid. I was talking to Pete too, and he's like, "Well, what would you watch as a kid?" Like, oh, my dad, Nightmare on Elm Street, Pumpkinhead, The Thing, and he's like, "Your dad let you watch those as a kid?" Yeah. He's like, "That's probably what's wrong with you then."
Well, they also wouldn't let me watch Nightmare Before Christmas. First time I'd ever seen that, I was like 20.
Really?
Yeah. But they let me watch the other movies.
I tried to act surprised like I didn't know that. Like, oh, that's the first time you've told me that. That's unbelievable. Leslie Jean Knipe. This is my wife's name. How dare you? And it's crazy because you want to kind of, some things you don't want your kids to see, and I get, but Nightmare on Before Christmas versus Nightmare on Elm Street, that makes zero sense. I mean, of course, I was the kid that, like, growing up, where my mom, of course, definitely tried to monitor what we watched. So, TV, we watched, like, Gospel Bill and Superbook and, a lot of Christian shows. And a lot of them were great, and I loved them. Actually, I loved Gospel Bill. That was a very fun show for me. Of course, I snuck around. I was like, I gotta watch the Thundercats. I gotta watch my Power Rangers. Or originally it was like Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Turtles. I did get to watch Johnny Quest and got the Godzilla Power Hour, which was back to back with my dad a lot, so that was cool. But when it came to the movies, no, I had to really sneak or get up late at night to watch something or watch it at a family member's house because I'm like, I want to see that. Like I remember From Dusk Till Dawn watching that. I think I was like 9. Should not have watched that when I was 9 years old when it was, But I was like, I gotta see this, like a bunch of people shooting vampires in a big bar or something. It just looked fun and entertaining. And it was very entertaining, but there was definitely stuff in there I shouldn't have seen at that age. So I mean, you definitely, that's why we got to keep filters on our kids, so that they're, you can watch Sonic, you can watch, this or that. Don't watch the Predator, which again, it's just a bunch of muscle dudes, but they drop some curse words, so. We don't want the little guy watching that stuff. But so that's been pretty much us. I mean, the boys been playing a lot of video games, and the girls have been creative, creating things or talking on their tablets with friends and things like that. Mm-hmm. We're staying pretty sane. So we've ranted about our movies and shows. I want to know what you guys listening have been doing. So, I mean, I'm always up for more movie suggestions. Shoot me some. New friend of mine, and we'll call him a friend now because I think we're getting there. His name is Charlie. He started listening to our show. Was it last month? I'm trying to remember if it was last month. He'd subscribed to the show anyways, and he's got his own page now. And I'm trying to find the page name real quick because I do want to promote that because it's pretty cool. It's an action movies page, and I know Where are you at, Charlie Chase? There he is. So his name's Charlie Chase, but he's got a cool little Facebook thing now, group page called Give Me Back My Action Movies, which is really cool because there's a lot of fun. Like, it's a lot of 80s action movie stuff. And like he put on the other day of like, what's 5 action movies you can't not watch or whatever. It's like 5 greatest ones, and I love them. Like Die Hard, Predator 2, Terminator 2. So Charlie Chase is a new guy that's been listening to the show, and so Charlie, dude, I just name dropped you, so you got to message me and let me know or comment on the page. What movies are you watching? And he puts cool little things, like he put a screenshot or a picture of his work in home office or the office he's working from, and he's watching some 80s action flick, and he's like, what was Charlie watching today? And I was like, I don't know. What are you watching, Charlie? 'Cause I can't think what that movie is. What?
Well, I just thought back. I watched all of the Back to the Future films.
That's right, you did.
Never seen them before.
You're 31?
Thanks for telling everybody.
I'm 35. It's 30s. It's not that bad. So, but I mean, you've never seen them.
No.
And I remember you saying that to me. I'm like, I cannot believe you've never seen those movies, because I watched those real young. I was definitely a kid watching those movies. I love those movies.
Well, and it's funny because I've heard people say lines from those movies, and I think they're hilarious, and I don't know what they're from. And now that I've watched them, I'm like, oh, okay.
I think your favorite ones from that, if I can name it, is Great Scott, because you were laughing like every time Doc said that. like when we heard it.
Where we're going, what is it? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Oh yeah, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it's so good. Those movies are great. The third one, honestly, is my favorite one. I love the third one. Did you finish it?
Yeah, I liked all of them. I can't
all
really place which one I like the most, honestly.
I don't know why. I love the third one. I love the Western vibe of it. When him and what's his name? The dude he's got to have the shoot off with there at the end.
Yeah, it's bad. I can't remember his name.
Oh man, it starts with a B. I can't think of it either. But I love that movie. That one was great. Plus, I like the train. The train time machine was really cool. That was really nifty.
Well, I don't know that the third one is my favorite now because I don't like that it ended. It kind of made me sad.
Oh, that was all over? It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It's got to come to an end sometime. Those movies, I'm like, don't ever remake those because they nailed them the first time. You would totally screw it up if you redid those. So hopefully they don't. I don't think they ever would.
No, they're great the way they are.
Yeah, those were good ones. I'm glad you watched those. Those are really good classical films to watch. So yeah, guys. So let us know, man. Let me know. I want to know what you're watching, what you're doing, what games you're playing. You got some movie suggestions? I'm down to watch something I maybe haven't seen before. I actually got to finish watching The Ship of Monsters because next week and for the next episode of SludgeCast is the Monster Movie Stomp Down. And we've got great special guest Pete Quint for this episode from Good Beer, Bad Movie Night. He's joining us for the movie that he schooled me on. The last couple episodes back, I challenged him on on finding a monster movie that Sludge has never seen, which my thought was I've seen every monster movie that you can think of that's American made or English made or German or Asian. Never once thought about a Mexican made monster movie ever until post Del Toro coming on the scene, Guillermo Del Toro movies. And he sure did. 1966 Ship of Monsters. Never heard of it. So I'm excited because it looks super cheesy. But that's going to be the next episode this month. This Monster Movie Stomp Down is going to be the Ship of Monsters with our special guest, Pete Quint. Super excited about that. So if you got some movie suggestions, throw them my way. Just don't watch movies with GD in it or anything with nudity or sex scenes. So if it's got that, give me a good heads up so I can be forewarned and skip past it because usually I won't watch those type of films. Or films with that in there. Like my version of Predator 2. There was unfortunately some nudity in that movie, but my version has got it edited out, so I can watch it and enjoy Danny Glover beating some alien behind. I actually love Predator 2. That's probably my favorite one of the entire series. And it's probably the least favorite of most fans. Most of the time people are like, oh, Predator 2 is the worst. I love Predator 2. Like, it was so good, man. I loved it. Because Danny Glover's awesome. He was more believable than Arnold Schwarzenegger to me, finding the Predator. Because it was just more, I don't know. It's great. Anyway, so yeah, that's going to wrap it up for tonight's episode. So again, hope you guys are enjoying your time in quarantine. We really are. We've gotten to spend a lot more time, as a family, hanging out, doing things, strangling each other, punching. We got sock and bopper gloves or whatever. I just get a baseball bat and go to town. No, just kidding. So It's been, I mean, I've seen a lot of people just like, oh, we're going stir crazy. We really haven't, you know what I mean? Like, we've really kind of kept her cool. Because especially you, my wife, you've been down since like February 10th, right?
9th is when it happened. I've been cooped up. I've been cooped up for years. Like.
You've been, yeah, so since you broke her ankle February 9th, you haven't gone anywhere. So, and for that long, because that's much longer than the quarantine time that we've been in so far, you've done really well. Really well.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anybody whine.
Everyone's like, oh, I've been in my house for 2 weeks. And there's like, I've been in my house for 3 months. Like, don't say anything. But, so anyways, hope you guys are having fun. Hope you guys are being blessed. We are praying for you guys and everybody constantly that you're safe. And hopefully staying entertained and having a good time the best that you can. And for those, hopefully everyone that, listens is working or still working, or if you haven't, praying for you and praying that you get the jobs returning soon. I know they're looking at trying to get that as quickly as possible. Actually, just saw that Governor Abbott in Texas is talking about a new executive order in the next week or so to get some jobs open or some businesses open back up that's had to close down. So we'll get there. I mean, we're hanging in together, and this is America. There ain't nothing we can't get through, and as long as we're together, we'll do it. And so hopefully you guys just keep trucking with us, man, and let us know. Give me some movie suggestions. Give me something you think Sludge hasn't seen, and I would love to watch it. Any genre, because if it's a monster movie, it's probably not going to happen. But unless you're Pete Quint seems to know what I've not seen. I think he's got a little black book somewhere of like, this is what Chase has never seen.
You can look for some dramas.
I won't watch drama. Mm-hmm. That's not true. I will watch some drama. Some drama. It's got to be good. Like Powder. Have you ever seen Powder?
No, but I think I've seen. Do you have that upstairs? No,
I
you
got
have
it
it
on
Plex.
Plex with Sean Patrick Flannery. Yeah. Phenomenal movie. Love it. That's more of a drama.
Ask him if he's seen A Walk to Remember.
Oh, we've discussed that early on in the show. Yes. Sludge has seen A Walk to Remember. If I'm going to watch a chick flick, it's totally Walk to Remember because that's the best there is post. Well, you can't really call any John Hughes flicks chick flicks. They're more teen
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 16 Candles was pretty close to a chick flick, even though she was
Weird Science. Totally not chick flick, but
no, but that was a good movie.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, what teenage boy wouldn't want to build their own perfect girlfriend? Like so. John Hughes flicks are great, but so I guess the greatest love story, and I've always stated this, that's ever been on film is the 1933 King Kong movie. But the original Beauty and the Beast. But Walk to Remember is phenomenal. I love Walk to Remember. It's a great movie.
Because it's depressing.
Well, that's life, okay? No, I'm just kidding. It's not life. Life doesn't have to be depressing. It can be very joyous. Because our life normally is. But that's a good movie. I won't knock that movie. I can't think of any other chick flick I would watch, though.
You haven't given any of them a chance.
Because they suck.
You don't know that.
No, I take it back. I watched Notebook. I did have to watch that movie.
I have to watch that the way you said that.
and
it wasn't me. I didn't make you watch it.
It was terrible. Then there was that other one. I made it through half of it. It's the same guy, Nicholas Sparks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is the next movie. What is it?
I thought he created A Walk to Remember.
No.
He didn't?
No. Okay. He did another one. Dear John, is that it?
I didn't like that either.
That one just made me mad. I just wanted to I totally am against violence against women, but man, Amanda Seyfried was pushing my buttons. Ooh.
I'm not really into chick flicks. I like thrillers more.
That's why I married you. You could like some decent films. If you were just like, I like chick flicks, wouldn't have worked out.
Let's go cry together.
No. If I want to cry, it's because, Godzilla dies in 1985, so that'd be about it. I'm not going to waste my tears on, stupidity like Titanic, which we all know I despise, because that's a terrible. Would you consider that a chick flick, Titanic? It's so bad, I would.
I think, yeah, because the romance, they put so much on that.
We're going to have to talk about a different movie. I hate that movie. Like, that movie angers me on the inside. It really does. I could kick some lawn gnomes or puppies.
Is it because she wouldn't let him get on the door or whatever?
Oh, that's one of a million problems that movie has. One of a million. But that door, when she's laying on that door, you can clearly see there's room for 2, maybe 3 people on that door. And he's just sitting there and freezes. That's just that is faulty directing. That's bad storytelling from James Cameron. And James Cameron is James Cameron. I mean, that's the dude who gave us the second Aliens film, which is phenomenal. Terminator 2.
I like Titanic.
It's so bad.
You sound so disappointed that I would say that.
It is. Didn't like that movie whatsoever. But anyways, so we can rant. It's 1:30 in the morning for us. So hopefully you guys have had fun. Listen to me and the wife banter about what we've been doing during our quarantine time. Again, join us next week for the next Monster Movie Stop Down. We've got a great special guest. Pete Quint's going to be here or calling in from his location, actually. If you guys get a chance to listen to this early in the day, it is Saturday when I'm releasing this, his band is doing a special live show on Saturday. It'll be April 11th. This morning, so later or this afternoon, I think it's around like 3 or 4 o'clock. I'll be sharing it on the Facebook page as well. It's going to be a really cool thing. Now, the band that he's with, they do a lot of fundraising for kids and things like that with the hospitals, and really cool what he does. So definitely go check that out. Watch it. I know I'm one to. So that'll be fun. Can't wait. Excited about next week's episode. And again, I've said it 3 or 4 times. Let me know what you're doing. I want to holler at you. I want to know you're safe. I want to know you're having fun. I want to know that you guys are making it through this quarantine time and not going insane. If you want to go insane, give me a call. We'll go insane together. I mean, at least be entertaining. So, or send me some movies that I haven't seen or you think maybe I haven't seen, and I'll give it a chance, give it a watch, and then holler at you. I love making friends, and that's something we do. So, Charlie Chase, I know you listen to this episode. Give me an action flick, man. He's a big 80s action flick guy, and there's probably a few action flicks from the 80s I haven't seen. So, Charlie, that's your job now. Find me an 80s action flick you'll think I like. Actually, he put a post of a really hard to find or rare, just unknown action flick the other day, and I'll wrap it up with this. And he puts like, what unknown 80s action flick do you like? And I actually put Blind Fury with Rutger Hauer, because I'm a huge Rutger Hauer fan, and he's a blind he's a Vietnam vet, but he's blind and he's also a samurai. Great movie. I love that movie. It is so much fun. Like, of course, anything with Rutger Hauer to me is great. Split Second was one of my absolute favorite films. That was 92, though. That wasn't 80s. So, I don't know if that's kind of an action. That's a buddy cop film. That's a good one, too. I like that. With an alien monster or the devil. We don't really know. They didn't really go into detail. They call him the devil. The monster that they have to kill, but it's good. Split Second's fun. Kim Cattrall, Rutger Hauer. Can't remember the guy who plays Dick Durkin, his partner in the movie, but he was a good actor too. So, great movie. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you so much to my wife for just being down here and bantering back and forth with me, because it would be very boring if it was just me. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next week for the Monster Movie Stop Down. This is Sludge.
This is Sarah.
Y'all have a good night.